So when we're finding m, there's the specific equation that we talked about already today. 14 minus 6 over 3 minus 2. So we just use the same equation that we've been using. That gives us 8 over 1, which we will simplify to just 8. Does everybody agree with that? Secondly, to find b, we use the m we found. And then I need an x and a y. Where do I get those from? Alright, does it matter which point I use? So if I use the purple one, it's going to give me the same answer as if I use the one that's circled in red? Okay, so just so we all do it the same way, let's use the first point. So if somebody wants help from you, or if you are helping someone, you're doing it the same way that they are. Okay? So then what we're going to do, we do basically the same thing that we've been doing. You start with y equals mx plus b. You put in what you know. So I'm going to use this point right here. So that means y is 6. M is what we found it to be, which is 8. X is 2 from that point plus b. So that means 6 equals 16 plus b. And I think it's pretty easy to see that b equals negative 10 after you subtract 16 from both sides. So then we, again, start with y equals mx plus b. And again, we only put in m and b. There were still a few people on the test or on the quiz from last week that put in more than just m and b. Or they didn't put in anything, they just put the answer as b. So be careful, you have to put in both of them. So y equals 8x and then it's minus 10. That's the equation of my line. Okay? So that isn't too bad, right? The only thing bad is the not having air conditioning thing. We started with something different. We actually combined, if you notice, see on our warm-up, we are actually given m, right? So what we're doing is, this is a little bit longer. You actually have to find m and then put it back in. Alright, so I want you to try one on your own. And then I'll show you just two pretty easy ones, and we'll be done. Okay? So, here's what I want you to do. 3, 9, and 5, 11. So find the equation of the line that goes between 3, 9, and 5, 11. So here's the answer. We get 11 minus 9 over 5 minus 3. So we get 2 over 2, which is 1. So our slope here is 1. You start with y equals mx plus b. Just, again, You can use either point. I'm just saying use the first point so that we all do it the same way. So for those of you that copy off each other, you can make sure you copy it the same way. So it's 9 equals 1 times 3 plus b. So we get 9 equals 3 plus b. So b equals 6 if you subtract 3 from both sides. Then remember, you start with y equals mx plus b, and you get y equals 1x plus 6. What? You could, if you want to. So this would also be an acceptable answer. I don't really care which way you write it. I will tell you that when you take the ACT, it's going to look more like this, because they use the simplified version of things. That's correct. Only when it's 1. All right, 2 more, and then we're done. So the first one that I'm going to show you is the line parallel to y equals 2x plus 6 through 1:11. I know it's not in my mailbox, but I don't have it. So okay. I know where it is. It's just embarrassing. It's in my car. Okay. It's a long story. All right. So the line parallel to y equals 2x plus 6. Do you all remember how to do this? How much is the slope? The slope is 2 because you use the same slope as the parallel line. X is 1, y is 11, and then we can find b, right? Using y equals mx plus b. So y is 11, m is 2, x is 1, b is b, because we don't know it yet. You subtract 2 from both sides. I think that's pretty clear. So 9 equals b. So the line parallel to this is y equals 2x plus 9. Okay? But what would happen if I had this? What if I had the same equation, so the same stuff up here, sorry, I'm being lazy here. It looks terrible, doesn't it? There we go. But with x-intercept of, let's just say, -2. So what happens if I have this weird scenario? If I just have x-intercept instead of having a point. Anybody know what to do? Yeah. No. Well, yes, y is 0. But there's more to it than just that. So we know m here is going to be how much? 2. How much is x going to be? All right. And then y is going to be, okay. So here's what we do know. If it's an x-intercept of -2, it goes through a specific point. It goes through the point -2, 0. Do you all remember that? Remember I made you all write your x-intercepts like this, and I told you it'd be important to know how to do it like that. This is one of the reasons why. So we have -2 and 0. And then we do it the same way. So y equals mx plus b. 0 equals 2 times -2 plus b. So that means 0 equals -4 plus b. Here, instead of subtracting, you add 4 because it's a negative. So 4 equals b. So y equals 2x plus 4. All right? Probably not, because this problem's really easy. Do you know why? No. If it gives you the y-intercept, it gives you b, because b is the y-intercept. Okay. So let me have you try one like this on your own. Then we have one more to show you. So tell the line parallel to y equals -1/2 x plus 6 with x-intercept of 5. Okay, so remember, here we know the point that it goes through. It goes through the point 5, 0, which sets us up with this equation. 0 equals -1/2 times 5 plus b. That's when I use the equation y equals mx plus b. So that's where all those numbers came from. From there, I get -2.5 plus b. I add 2.5 to both sides. And I get b. I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to a fraction. B equals 5/2 because I like fractions better. So I know my equation is -1/2 x plus 5/2. Okay? So let me just show you just a couple clarifications, and then we'll be done. So what if it's perpendicular instead? How do I say I know that I have y equals 2/5x plus 6? What is the slope of the line perpendicular to it? I spelled it wrong, or you spelled it wrong? It's a long word. Okay, so the slope perpendicular to it, you still use this, but what you do is you flip it upside down and you make it negative. Right? Because if you think about it, this would go up like this, so you need it to go the opposite way, which means it needs to be negative, and it needs to go at a little bit different angle, so the angle that it actually goes at is the reciprocal, if you remember what that word means. So let's try another one real quick. What's the, if I have 3x plus 6, what's the slope of the perpendicular line? -1/3. Remember, it has to be negative. Let's try one more. Y equals -4 x plus 10. Yes, it does. So it actually changes back to positive. Oops, and I still wrote -1. And it's 1/4. Yeah, and I wrote y instead, so it should be m equals 1/4. Okay? Does that make sense? One last one. One last. I said a couple clarifications, so I told you what perpendicular is. And what if the slope is undefined? What if I have a m is undefined through the point 5, 6? What is the equation of this line? The slope is undefined through the point 5, 6. Alright, so if m is undefined, it is always an x equals equation. Alright? So if m is ever undefined, it is always an x equals equation. And let me just say it like this. The ACT loves problems like this because this is one of the problems that your calculator won't do. So, how much does x equal? 5. If I had the same question through the point -7, 1, x equals how much? -7. Because if you think about it, when it's undefined, it's a vertical line, which is why we get this. Okay? Everybody happy? Any questions? Do you have a question? Okay. Add that onto the recording. -7. Thank you.